Is TRT World's defense analyst, and he joins me now in the studio to talk all of this through. Oubai, first off, how serious an operation is this? 600 fighters, a fairly small amount of territory compared to what they used to control. What's going on the ground now?
Well, Daesh went from controlling a size of territory in Iraq and Syria around the size of Great Britain. Now it's confined to the last parts of its crumbling former so-called caliphate in a small little village. Though a few hundred Daesh fighters, these seem to be the die-hard fighters, are fighting to the last stand against the ongoing assault led by the U.S. forces and the local forces on the ground by the YPG, the affiliate of the PKK terror group. What's interesting here is that Daesh seems to be holding civilians hostage, to include possibly some Western hostages. There have been reports of negotiations on the ground between the U.S. and Daesh regarding these hostage releases, but Daesh seems to be using human shields as an effort to continue the fight. What's interesting here also is that analysts are suggesting that Daesh may be able to escape into the desert, or may be able to go underground, so in order to fight as a guerrilla group, as an underground group, no longer holding any sizable territory, but launching these type of attacks like car bombs and checkpoints in order for it to continue to survive. So a big question here is that even if Daesh loses its territory on the ground, will it be able to survive as a terror group moving forward in both Syria and Iraq? Large questions on whether or not mission accomplished is in the future.
As we said, a large part of the SDF is made up of the YPG, which of course Turkey considers a terror group. And now we have reports that the YPG has been doing sort of backdoor dealings with the Syrian regime. What more can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. An incredible story here that was first reported by the Wall Street Journal of what seems to be a major scandal here, that the YPG, despite receiving huge amounts of military support from the U.S. Pentagon, may be going behind the U.S.'s back and striking oil deals with the Assad regime, a key Iranian ally. According to these reports, the YPG is going through a business entity called the TRT Group, which is allegedly affiliated with the Assad regime. Now get this. This business entity was sanctioned by the U.S. and the European Union for striking oil deals with none other than Daesh. So it seems that even though the U.S. is spending a significant amount of money to include sacrificing American men and women, soldiers fighting on the ground with the YPG, it seems that the YPG may be going behind the U.S.'s back, dealing with the Assad regime, possibly even selling oil to Daesh. So what seems to be an incredible scandal here, despite discussions of the fight against Daesh ending, possibly the YPG may have other intentions in mind.
Let's talk a little bit about Donald Trump and this latest tweet. He says the U.S. will soon control 100% of ISIS territory in Syria, obviously claiming this as a huge success for America. Is this really the end of the fight, though?
Well, look, on one hand, no question that Daesh's demise has happened during the Trump administration. It was his predecessor, Obama, that began U.S. involvement in fighting against Daesh and first allying with the YPG. Now, the big question here is whether or not this fight will truly be over. President Trump has said that the fight once the fight against Daesh is over, he wants to bring the U.S. troops home. He doesn't want a forever war. Interestingly enough, there are members in the Pentagon, to include senior generals, that want to continue the U.S. presence in northeastern Syria almost indefinitely. There are over 2,000 American troops, to include over 20 bases. Trump wants to bring those troops home. Some other members of the U.S. administration want to maintain an even longer presence and to partner with the YPG. The question here is Daesh defeated as an international terror group that can threaten U.S. interests, that can threaten other countries? Turkey wants to work with the U.S. to create a buffer zone to ensure that Daesh doesn't reemerge, and that may be the solution for bringing American troops home and not worrying about Daesh reemerging as an international terror threat.
We have seen the ideology and how